got me stranded like a branch in the wind. Tell me what you long for. Oh, I want what you want.
The Nasty is coming to the Sea of Abaco in a few days, and WildChild's still making her way to Crab Cay to hide. It's not the most protected anchorage, but it's all we have available. Okie dokie, 17 over 5.9, course over ground 326, depth 13 feet, and we got clear sailing ahead. Who's in front of us? Trillium is in front of us, and Trillium is a 68-foot pleasure craft going 10 knots, so we won't be meeting up with him. Clear the cursor. This is it. We just do this for 3 hours and bam, we're in our new home. Bye-bye, Green Turtle Key. So remember, sometimes guys, I tell you that sailing can be kind of boring, so the good news is I have company, and us two girls are just sitting and like sharing stories. WildChild's all happy. We're 12 over 4.8 and we're on a running wind. We're only about 5 miles from our destination, and we're just kind of, I don't know, chilling out talking, I guess. The ocean's pretty calm. We got some dark clouds ahead that we have to keep an eye on in case it develops into a front that comes on us, but it's clear above us, so that's good. I don't know, sometimes I complain about the sailing life, and sometimes I have no reason to complain because actually it's kind of easy. And today is actually kind of pretty. Yeah, it's getting a little sporty. We're seeing the winds climbing up closer to 20 now. We're 19 over 6. The good news is we got a nice corridor to run in with plenty of depth. So we're okay, like we have enough track, but when we go to drop the mainsail in 20 knots of wind, it's gonna be a bit sporty. Take two. So watch the white lines of the sheet, right? You'll be able to tell when the boom wants to cross. You'll see that start to luff. So right now we have the wind dead behind, so I'm gonna go to standby. I'm gonna start bringing the wind around. So slowly I just go a little bit. We're gonna go 10 more degrees to the left, and then she'll cross, and then you just kind of gently let her go. There we go, she's coming. She's just starting to luff now. Okay, hold on, 10 more degrees. She'll go. Here we go. Let it go, 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 go. Oh.
Are you gonna tell me how to stop?
Yeah, open it up. Keep going. Yeah, it's fine. Lock it up. Alright, hi sailing fans. So, we are safely at anchor in Crab Cay, and we are okay for today and tonight. We will not be okay for Saturday morning or tomorrow night. So I've learned from my mistakes. WildChild has been at anchor in severe winds before, and here's what I've learned. The anchor snubber we use only has a 2,000 pound breaking strength, and we've broken them before. And last time in Morehead City, we also ripped apart the bow roller and destroyed all that. So we're gonna build this time, for the severe winds and nasty anchorage, we're gonna build a bridle harness off the front. So usually we just use the anchor snubber and then bring the chain up over the bow roller, double cleat it, and it's fine. Because I mean, under most conditions, a 2,000 pound anchor snubber is gonna do it. Like, it's gonna hold it. But in 40 knots of wind, all bets are off. And I don't want to rip apart my bow roller again, so we're going to build a bridle harness. That way we can take the pressure off the bow roller and divide it. When the anchor snubber reaches its limit, we're going to divide that force load between both cleats, like to be evenly balanced. So Alina and I have taken the rubber hoses that I had on the running backstays for protection. We're going to use them as protection for our bridle harness when it goes through the clutch, because we don't want to chafe it, right? So we need chafing protection. Bridle harness. I don't like these ones because they don't cleat very well. This seems like a lovely line, but it might be too thick for my intended chafe strips. What do we got here? Anybody can go buy a boat and automatically become a captain, but being a good sailing captain means making good decisions. Most of your mistakes happen before you even go sailing. I have enough experience on the ocean to know that there's nastiness coming. I learn from my mistake. This time I want to build a bridle harness so that it divides the pressure of the anchor chain away from the bow roller. I don't want to break it again. I don't want to peel it off. And so, ta-da! So now the bridle harness grabs both cleats on both sides. It goes through the chocks, in the rubber protector, through the chafe guards, and it grabs onto the main chain. So as the pressure on the anchor snubber increases and the anchor snubber begins to stretch, the main chain starts to tighten out and it begins to put the pressure on the bridle harness. And now we have zero pressure on our bow roller. So even if the winds get nasty, the bow roller's not going to rip apart this time because it never has any pressure on it. Roller onto one cleat then the other, but all the weight was on that first cleat. Now the weight's going to divide equally between the two cleats because the rope's on both and the shackle can kind of slide and it's held equally. So we divide the pressure on the nose between the two cleats and the bungee because we don't want it.
Right?
And us girls settle in for the night to wait and see what tomorrow brings. The thing about weather forecasts is they're always subject to change. Well, good morning, guys. So I'm not sure how much information I've been giving you, but we're in Crab Cay. Yesterday was Thursday. We stayed through last night, Thursday night. Today it's Friday morning. There's supposed to be severe nasty winds coming through here tonight, like Friday night to Saturday morning. And we're talking severe winds like 43, 45 knots. So I've been through that before. I don't like it and I don't want to ever do that again. But sometimes we can't control this and there is no safe place. But this morning I woke up, checked the wind information again. You look at the weather forecast, you look for updated wind, because a wind forecast that's 3 days in the future is less accurate than a wind forecast that's 12 hours in the future. So waking up this morning, looking at the wind forecast, looking at the 3 different wind models on Windy TY. So we looked at NAM, we looked at ECMWF, and we looked at GFS forecasts. And it looks like things are moving in our favor. The winds tonight will, the eye of the nasty is going to be 20 miles above us, north of us. So we're not going to be in quite as nasty as it said we were going to be. It's sort of shifted north. So yay, like that's very exciting. And when it swings around, like we are protected, bam, not protected, that will be either tonight or tomorrow, but when we are not protected, it will not be as strong either on the backside of the nasty. It was supposed to be 20 to 30 on the backside, which can build up really big waves. Now it's only going to be 10 to 15 on the backside, which even fully exposed in here in the Sea of Abaco, 15 knots of wind doesn't make very big waves because it's only like 10 feet deep all around here. So WildChild's going to stay here in Crab Cay overnight to wait this out, and then we'll stay here all day today, all night tonight, all day Saturday, and then all day Saturday night. Sunday we have to make a run against the wind, like into the wind, to get around to Great Sail Key. Monday we go from Great Sail Key to the bank, and Tuesday we make the crossing to Florida. So things are kind of lining up pretty good, but to be safe, today we will drop the Sentinel anchor. We will make sure that we set the main anchor really well, and we will drop the Sentinel anchor so we're on 2 hooks with very long scope and very long chain. So even if it does get to 30-35 tonight, WildChild can do that. It's the 4-foot waves in the enclosed bay, or 6-foot waves in an enclosed bay we don't want to be in. We don't want to be in 50 knots of wind. We don't want to be in sustained 40. But sustained like 28 or 30 for WildChild is not that big a deal. Another thing that us good sailing captains do is we always make sure Plan A is backed up by Plan B. The holding here in Crab Cay is known for being not so great. We have a foot of sand over bedrock. If things go bad in the night and WildChild starts to drag, it won't be long before her 8-foot keel hits bottom in the 10-foot bay. So we'll need to be able to react quickly. And Captain Lexi has a genius Plan B. WildChild has a gigantic fortress anchor, which, although not the best anchor, it's really good in sand. So I rig it so it's ready to go. If we drag, I send Elena up on the bow. She grabs the fortress and just heaves it over while I try to gain control with the motor. It's not actually bad right now. We're only in 20 to 25. Well, sailors, for those of you that thought sailing was all glory and fun all the time, you would be wrong. We just dragged. So we are in Crab Cay, and then overnight we just stayed on the Rocknet anchor with about 90 feet of chain and 10 feet of water. And I was sitting down below working on a video, and I felt the boat sideways to the wind and said, wait a minute, this isn't right. The anchor drag alarm went off, and we dragged off. Now the Rocknet reset itself, maybe kind of hooked on something. 50 feet later, it kind of grabbed again and sort of held us. So we had to go lift the Rocknet, make sure that it's clean, reset it again hard. But Crab Cay is known for bad holding and bad bottom. So, and it's only 20 to 25 knots of wind now. We're gonna get to 35 tonight. So what we did is we reset the Rocknet, we climbed up, we let out a lot of scope, we put the Sentinel anchor, the Big Bruce Sentinel anchor, we let out a lot more scope. We're on about a 11 or 12 to 1 scope now with double anchor. We have the Rocknet and the Bruce as a Sentinel. We're not dragging now, but we're expecting the wind force, the wind power to double. And that's a lot of power on the boat, and that's a lot of force. So the debate that Captain Lex is having now is, should we throw a third anchor? Should we hang the double here and then hang off the fortress there like a V? But to set the fortress, now if they all start dragging, the fortress will tangle up the other two and prevent them from resetting, and it will also prevent from resetting. If we do 3 anchors, like double here and single here, and our holding strength is a lot better, especially a fortress in sand. But if they drag, they come together and they tangle each other up, and then we're kind of free fall, and then we can't get them up. Like, let's say it's the middle of the night tonight and it's 35 knots of wind and we put the engine on and we're dragging and the 3 anchors are tangled and 30 knots of wind, I won't be able to retrieve them, so we won't be able to reset, we won't be able to handle it. We'll be kind of at their mercy, motoring and praying we don't get the anchor rope tangled in our prop. Is this a good option? Is it the right option? Like, would you set the 3 anchors, like set the V, fortress and double here? Would you set 3 anchors if you knew that you had 30 to 40 knots of wind coming down on you in the middle of the night? I'm not going to try and hide the fact from you. I'm nervous. I'm a nervous wreck and I'm on the verge of tears. I've been at anchor in the nasty before and I know how it feels, and it's awful. I'm trying to do everything that I can in advance. I'm racking my brain. What is wise? What is the right thing to do? What is the absolute best, smartest preparation that I need to make now before the nasty comes? I'm just not sure. The thing about adventure is that the outcome is not certain. We are always 10 bad seconds away from disaster. I don't like this. Like, remember guys, like eject. Sailing isn't always like fun. Sometimes it sucks and it's scary, and tonight is gonna suck and be scary.